Hello friends, today I'm going to tell you a story. Not just any story, the true story of a man who changed the way we understand the universe. A story of genius, of struggle, of deep thought, and of humanity. This is the story of Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein was born on March 14, 1879, in a small city called Ulm, in Germany. When he was a baby, his mother thought something was wrong with him. His head was too big. And as he grew, he was a quiet child. In fact, he didn't speak properly until he was about 9 years old. Many people thought he was slow, but inside his little head, a storm of thoughts was growing. Albert loved two things, music and math. His mother taught him to play the violin, and numbers became his favorite friends. Albert didn't like school. The strict rules and boring classes made him feel like he was in a prison. He once said, "Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school." Albert didn't like school. The strict rules and boring classes made him feel like he was in a prison. He once said, "Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school." When he was a teenager, his family moved to Switzerland, and he joined ETH Zurich, one of the best science schools. But even after finishing his degree, he couldn't get a job as a teacher. No one would hire him, so he took a job in the Swiss patent office, checking other people's inventions. He worked quietly, but in his free time, he was doing something incredible, thinking about space, time, light, and the universe. In the year 1905, something magical happened. Einstein, still a young man working at the patent office, wrote 4 papers that changed science forever. That year is called his Annus Mirabilis, the miracle year. 1. In one paper, he explained the photoelectric effect, how light can act like particles. 2. In another, he proved that atoms and molecules actually exist. 3. Then, he gave us his famous special theory of relativity, saying time is not always the same, it moves differently for different people. 4. And finally, he gave us the world's most famous equation, E equals mc squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. With just a pen and paper, Einstein rewrote the laws of physics. In 1915, Einstein gave the world something even more amazing, the general theory of relativity. This theory explained gravity not as a force, but as a bending of space and time itself. People didn't believe him at first, but in 1919, scientists observed a solar eclipse and found that starlight bent exactly how Einstein predicted. Overnight, Einstein became world famous. He traveled the world, gave lectures in Japan, America, Europe. Everyone wanted to see the genius who had touched the stars. But Einstein was more than a scientist. He had a heart full of compassion. He hated war and violence. When World War I happened, most scientists supported it, but Einstein stood against it. He believed in peace, equality, and justice. As a Jewish man, he faced discrimination in Germany. When the Nazis came to power in 1933, he had to escape Germany and move to the United States. He left everything behind, his home, his books, his country. In America, he worked at Princeton University and kept fighting for peace. Even though Einstein hated war, he was worried that Hitler might create a nuclear bomb. So in 1939, he signed a letter to President Roosevelt, warning him of this danger. That letter led to the Manhattan Project, the program that made the first atomic bombs. But when the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Einstein was heartbroken. He said, "I made one great mistake in my life, when I signed that letter to Roosevelt." From that day on, he worked harder than ever for nuclear disarmament and peace. In his later years, Einstein became more of a philosopher. He thought deeply about God, the universe, and the meaning of life. He said, "Science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind." He never believed in a personal God but believed in a deep harmony in the universe, something beyond human understanding. He also supported civil rights in America and was a friend to African American activists, including W.E.B. Du Bois. He once called racism America's worst disease. He never believed in a personal God but believed in a deep harmony in the universe, something beyond human understanding. He also supported civil rights in America and was a friend to African American activists, including W.E.B. Du Bois. He once called racism America's worst disease. Einstein never stopped working. Even at the age of 76, he was still writing, still thinking, still dreaming. On April 18, 1955, Albert Einstein passed away in Princeton. His last words were in German, but the nurse who was with him didn't speak the language, so his last words are lost forever. After his death, scientists took his brain to study what made him so brilliant, but maybe it wasn't just the brain. It was his curiosity, his imagination, and his compassion. Albert Einstein left behind more than just science. He left behind a message. Try not to become a man of success, but rather a man of value. Today, his name means genius. But Einstein was more than a genius. He was a man of peace, a thinker, a rebel, a dreamer. He taught us that questions are more important than answers, and that imagination can take us further than knowledge.